here, info or I, doesn't matter. Info and frame, then it gives you the frame information. So I want you to look at this.
E prime,
I for info.
Uh-huh.
So is stack level 0 and frame starts. Let me see if I can bring this somewhere here. Okay, and then I can push this a little bit away. All right. So I want you to compare those two. This is a frame, stack frame. So this is beginning of that. That is the address of that, right? And then in main program, this frame is in main where there is, because we are looking at the core, the line 8. So that's located there in main position, and say this is an address of the memory address, and this is hexacode of that value, whatever the value is. Source language is C, and previous frame. This is a called this is return address. Previous frame stack pointer. That's a stack pointer is that address. So clearly it says where this frame returns. So if you this returns, that particular line returns to that frame. You see this, the frame itself. Because we are talking about that particular core code. But if you do that without core, then it gives you a different story. Let's try here. Quit. Instead of using core, simply that, and info frame, no stack, run. So that place. But if you have a little more, let's say if you have two functions, then you can see it clearly, right? You want to do that? Two functions, color and cold. Remember that our program right now, adder.c, then it is only one single function. Can you make, for example, little more complicated code? Adder.c to adder2.c. And then we can edit, we can extend that adder2.c in a way that, say, float divider, and it takes two integer a and integer b, and then finally we can return C, whatever the C is. So what happens here is that I want to delete this and then bring that up somewhere here. And A and B. And then you can do float. And here you don't have to do that way, but simply, I don't think you need to do this. But instead of C, you can do divider, A and B, right? So we are now demonstrating in one file with two functions, caller and called. So main function calls the function called divider. So divider here. This is divider. Divider is called here. So divider A and B returns float type. Actually C is a float there, right? And return, and that is written. Make it simple, like this. Very short. If you want to take two values from the user, the command line, then you need to do int argc and then argv, and then you do not do initialize here, but you can do, for example, a equals let's try. Where's the function? String to CY. Let's try. And arg the first argument, and B comes from second argument. So command line arguments. So character should be converted to the integer. Let's see what happens. So GCC minus O ADD ER 2.c, and O should be ADD ER 2. Expected declaration to so character. So you need to do your chart. Oh, let me see. Grab. So it is not C2I, but A2I. So it works. So it's
So Professor, did you have the int A, B and I?
A equals, what happens here is that in this main program, okay, let me explain that. Two arguments, main program can usually specify two arguments. the idea here is that when you run these executable files, with the command line, you can add the parameters, as many parameters as you can. You could do that in Python also, right? We did a little bit of such exercise. So similar to that. One good thing in Python is that you can do, see here 2 star star, so that it is flexible number of input parameters in character. And the first argument, argc, means it can count the number of parameters. Okay? So we can use this. I didn't use this, but the value itself. It counts from the command itself. Command is the first arguments. And whatever following, it is indicated by the index 1 and 2 and 3, whatever that. Okay? And then if you want to show, for example, not only that, let's say here you can say given and then simply RC minus 1. No, RC, fine. No, RC minus 1. I think RC minus 1. Because it includes the command itself. So if we compile that and execute it, ADDER2, then I can say 56, 34, 23, 45, 89, whatever I could do, right? But it takes only 56 and 34 for division. The rest didn't use it in my code, right? And it says 6 arguments given. Here 6 arguments. It's from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 arguments given. But I used only this and this. 56 divided by 34 equals 1.00. Right? The code is .c. That's a code. So this is an execution. This is a compiler and an execution. And this is the result. And this is a code. So we have 2 frames, 2 functions, right? Main and divider. And now we could do debugger. Okay, here minus G. And then debugger, GDB, ADDER2, that is the object code from that ADDER2.c. Now we can do some breakpoint. Breakpoint, say main. Breakpoint, divider.
It doesn't define
Oh,
the command.
undefined. Breakpoint. It's a set breakpoint or let's see. What is it? Here breakpoint or set breakpoint. That's right. Set breakpoint. So here we need to set breakpoint main. Define the set breakpoint command main. Divider set. Same thing. Divider. Run. Run 40.5. Start the beginning. Fine. Set. What's it mean? List. So we have divider and main. Set. Find the separate command. Command divide. Set. Breakpoint. Set breakpoint always. Set breakpoint. Condition. Set breakpoint. Set breakpoint. Set breakpoint. Sub commands. Set breakpoint. Oh, maybe set point add to Is there an example? Separate point. Separate. Break main. Simply break main. Simply break main. Simply break main. Oh, break divider. Info. Oh. But anyway, if it is a breakpoint, then when you do run, it stops at starting from the beginning, breakpoint 1 in the main program. That's a breakpoint, and then we can go further from there. There are two ways that you can make progress. In the in your note, you can do step or next. You can do either one of these. Step, then exclude current function, and it goes to next step. Next means the same as a step, except this doesn't step into function. So if you do step, then it goes function by function. Step. I mean, if you do next. But if you step, then it step in, even deeper level. So from here, if you do step, for short S, then goes next. Okay, go next, then it goes next, and step in, still the same, step and next, yeah, next to main arguments, hy and d, so next to, it goes step by step. At any points, if you want to see, oh, what is the value c? That is not the value. Wait a minute. $C, $C. C means I'm trying to see the hexacode, but it doesn't come up to the presentation. Print $A. Forward. Run again from the beginning. Step. Okay, next. 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 That's correct. Oh, another break point. But because we do not have any, why it didn't work? Because when you do, when I do this, break divider, break main, and when I do run, I didn't give any arguments. So that you need to give to some arguments, right? Like this. Then now you know print $C, print C. Print A 34, print B 12, fine. But C is not. Disassemble, then you can see